It's the Packers rookie preview you've all been waiting for. Let's talk about Dani Dennis-Sutton. The Green Bay Packers were able to land the Penn State EDGE with the 120th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, surprising plenty of fans, including myself, who were open to the idea of Brian Gutekunst taking him as early as the second round. Instead, the Packers got to sit back and let DDS fall to them, and given his full draft profile, it's a bit shocking he fell this far. A five-star recruit out of Maryland back in 2022, Dennis-Sutton committed to Happy Valley and made an impact almost immediately. Over the course of his 4 years with the Nittany Lions, he played in 55 games with 34.5 tackles for loss, 23.5 sacks, 7 forced fumbles, and a pair of interceptions while generating 147 pressures and 80 defensive stops. He even brought special teams value in 2025 with 3 different blocks on special teams. The athletic testing stands out in a big way as well, with DDS posting a 9.96 relative athletic score. That includes a terrific 4.63 in the 40-yard dash, a 6.93 cone, a 39.5-inch vertical, and 10'11" broad jump. It's kind of shocking that a 6'5", 256-pound edge prospect with 5-star pedigree, playing time and production against Big Ten competition, and a near-perfect athletic score would fall all the way to the 4th round. So to give you a better picture of the kind of player that the Packers landed with this 4th round pick, we're going to dive into 3 of DDS's games from this past season in today's episode of Best Available. Thank you for watching today's episode. Make sure that you're subscribed on YouTube if you're not already, and give us a follow on socials at BestAvailableYT. Huge shout out, as always, to all of our members who continue to support the channel. If you would also like to support us and get full access to my 2027 NFL Draft Big Board, consider becoming a member. I'll leave details to that in the episode description. It is Packers Rookie Preview Day. It's one of the best days of the week as we go through all of these Packers draft picks. And I know this has been the most highly requested one, so let's just go ahead and dive into the Dani Dennis-Sutton tape. Because we're talking about a Big Ten player, I have to give a quick caveat about this. There might be times, depending on when you watch this, that some of these plays get clipped out. Big Ten football really does not like sharing coaches' film. It's a bit annoying, but we're going to power through because I know people want to talk about Dani Dennis-Sutton. Has the eyes in zone to just read the quarterback's eyes and jump a throwing window. Switching gears to the Michigan State game, we've got Dani Dennis-Sutton over here. Another really productive game from DDS. I think he had like double-digit pressures in this one, if I recall. So pretty impressive. We're going to see some of that hand usage flash right here. Attack that outside hand. It hurts the disengagement suddenly instead of, up in the chest plate, outside hand, not striking at all. This hand's too low. Really bad engagement from the tackle. And then, DDS always does a nice job ripping through. This is a better example of the bend. I think the first play we showed against Oregon, much tighter path to the quarterback. Love to see that. And then he's utilizing that length to make this a, batted ball. Ends up being an incompletion. Thought it was a fumble on first watch, but he really does have some of this to his bag, like the explosiveness, the hand usage, and then when he can flash that bend, I'm awfully excited because then he can tighten that path to the quarterback, and then he's got enough length and size to him that even when engaged with the blocker, he's able to utilize that and just try and swipe at the football, go for strip sacks. Love seeing stuff like that. I believe the kids call this frame mugging. You just look at the size of these two guys. Just that, we're playing different sports, it feels like at this point. Like, that is too small of a tackle to take on this human being. As we roll this, gets into a stance, fires out. You're going to see some speed to power here, which I love. Consistently really good explosiveness off the snap as a pass rusher. Really like to see that from a guy that size. And then what I like is, when you set up outside so much, try to get around outside, sometimes you can just use that, go straight through the tackle. And in this instance, you're going to see fully extended, forward lean, using all of that momentum to get to the tackle. Boom, collision. Tackle's looking down now, man. He has completely lost this battle with that speed to power to the point where he's now looking at the quarterback. He's trying to use his butt to get in the way. He just got his ass kicked on this rep. There's no other way to say it. Other pass rush on the other side ends up getting displaced in this. We get a throwaway. I can't imagine how terrifying that is to go through this exact situation as a blocker, because he just gets completely destroyed on this speed to power. And like, this is the kind of stuff I'm excited to see more of from DDS at the NFL level. Green Bay loves its power rushers, man. And When DDS can do stuff like this with his explosiveness off the snap, then convert that with his size and length into a bull rush, man, it can be devastating. So you've seen the ways that DDS has been winning in this game, getting outside, hand usage, straight through. We've been setting this up all game against this guy. So this time we're just going to swim inside. This tackle's in his brain to just be like, this guy's been kicking my ass. Just get to my landmark, get to my landmark, get to my landmark, get to my landmark, and then anchor down, anchor down, anchor down. So you can see jump set. And he's like, I'm going to just try and force the issue this time. And then DDS is like, nah, I'm just going to swim over unimpeded to the quarterback. And then I love a good pass rush rep like that. Like, I think that's got to be one of the most terrifying things to see in all of professional sports as a quarterback. Like, this barreling down on you, fully extended. I call it like the flying squirrel method, where you just inhale the guy. And just, it's another example of just how much bigger he is than everyone. You can just see that size in place when he's making contact with a guy like this. Like, not fun. I love that he's got that inside usage here, knowing extended, just feeling it, I mean, he just kicked this tackle's ass this whole game. This poor guy had no chance of doing anything against Dani Dennis-Sutton in this game. Now we're going to punish this guard, and I feel bad for him. He's probably watched his teammate over here just, constantly getting destroyed every rep against DDS. Now he sees, wide alignment from this guy. DDS is playing more inside shade of the tackle, and he's like, all right, head on a swivel. I got to make sure I can get out to here and get just some kind of hands on DDS, and, he feels it right away. You see the set outside, spin move inside, just the feel for which Dennis-Sutton has of when a guy's oversetting on him. Exactly here, like, this is not square enough for a guard. We're talking about pass pro. Shoulders should be more square, not angled this way. And instead, DDS feels that. He's like, all right, this guy's really oversetting. Throwing hands. I'm going to just spin inside. For a guy that big, crazy spin move. It is way more effective than you think. And then what I love about DDS, outside of that holding call that we nitpicked a lot last time, is like when he gets a free path to the quarterback, that size and speed profile allows him to pretty easily chase down guys, especially if they're not the most mobile. It can be really, really scary for a quarterback. Historically, I'm pretty anti-spin move outside of Dwight Freeney. I usually don't like it, but there are times when it's called for, and the counter spin is a pretty good example of that. We see DDS here. He swiped down at that outside hand trying to get outside. Quickly realizes he's just being taken for a ride around the quarterback, right? That's what a tackle wants to do for a guy trying to win with speed, is just use his momentum and carry him behind the quarterback, prevent any kind of bend to tighten that path. So in theory, this tackle's doing the right things against an outside rush. But what I love about DDS with his spin move, this is an appropriate time to use it. Like, all right, I'm getting taken for a ride here. Let me use my athleticism to quickly decelerate, spin back, change directions, and then suddenly I've got a free path to the quarterback. Get a face in him, and then it's an incomplete pass because of it. I think a cleaner pocket, this is a little more dangerous, but when we're dealing with a guy that has this kind of usage, and you can see the hands right here. He's up. The spin is not his initial plan. He is trying to win outside, chop at that outside hand, get going, realizing it's not going to win, and then just having the change of direction ability to quickly redirect like that, man. That's one of those things that makes DDS a really special talent, because there's just not guys of his size that can effectively use a counter spin move like that. Moving to the bowl game at Clemson, and I do want to give Dani Dennis-Sutton props, like, really disappointing Penn State year. He knows he's going to the NFL after this, and he's still playing in the bowl game, and you get some bonus points for me from that. And just that to me, that tells me this guy just wants to play football, and I'll take those guys any day of the week. So I really enjoy seeing that stuff. And we got some nice flashes of reps from him in this game. So this is a good example of that. We got that explosiveness off the snap, realizing we're probably not going to win outside, using all of that momentum to go through a guy instead of around him. And, I love here what we see. Forward lean, leg drive, the extension. And the reason I wanted to show this play, because we talked about it a little bit on that play against Oregon that didn't really matter, where he pancakes Isaiah World. I want to see way more of this. This is stuff that should be Dani Dennis-Sutton's bread and butter. Look at how he just keeps collapsing the pocket with forward lean, extension, leg drive. He's a 200 and almost 60-pound edge with crazy athleticism. He should be basing his entire pass rush repertoire off speed to power. So many effective, really successful pass rushers at the NFL level have a really good bull rush and then tie everything else and counter off of that. And it just feels like from these 3 games we've watched, I didn't see a ton of these reps. And when I did, I really liked them because he can just do that to a guy. And we already know like the play strength is super evident. It's flashed in different phases of the game we've watched. And yet there's a lot of times where he's trying to rely on that explosiveness and some speed and bend. And the bend's adequate, but it's nothing special. This is where I think he can be really special. And I really hope that we lean more into that at the NFL level. Because when I see reps like this, man, and I can see, I don't even think he times the hands or the strike well, but still he's doing exactly what I want from a bull rusher. And I hope we see more of that. I don't know why Penn State didn't want him to do more of that, but if I'm coaching him at the NFL level, I'm like, listen, man, this is going to be your bread and butter. If you want to counter spin, you want to use some hand usage, figure other ways after you've set up the bull rush we can work off of. But when I see this, man, this is what I want to see more of. We're going to have another example of a pretty effective bull rush here. You can see that leg drive getting extended. What I don't like is that he tries to like counter off of it. And normally I'd be like, yeah, we just talked about like, if you've done everything else right, yeah, counter off of it. But it feels like on this rep specifically, I think if he just fully commits to the speed to power right here and just keeps going instead of that rip, I think he's taking the tackle into the quarterback's lap. Maybe he sees something different. Maybe this is one where I'm just not knowledgeable enough, don't have enough experience in this situation. But I wanted to point it out because I'm like, man, I just feel like if you were fully committed to that bull rush here, we might have something a little different. Sorry, let me get to rewinding it. It just feels like he's winning so much initially. Maybe he can feel that anchor dropping and coming, and I'll give him credit for that. But just wanted to point it out again. Like we're seeing it effective really initially, and maybe he's slowing down, thinking about a counter move. Maybe he feels that anchor wants to counter. Context definitely matters in this situation, but something I at least wanted to point out. Really, really impressed by this sack from DDS. Last play that we're going to show. We've got the left tackle setting out here, and we're going to have chip help by Adam Randall. And in order to do this, we need to make sure we split these two block attempts. Randall, former wide receiver, still a work in progress on pass pro. Shouldn't be too worried about him. But we want to make sure we can catch this tackle off balance. So what we're going to do is you're going to see that jab step inside right here. You can see that we're trying to recover to that jab step. Suddenly, this vertical set stops gaining depth. We're full stepping inside, trying to catch up to that inside, try and recover. And then suddenly, you can see that step out. Now he's overextended. He's too wide. The chip help's not going to do much. So we're just going to split those two guys. And because of that slightest jab step inside from Dani Dennis-Sutton, this tackle's landmark was completely screwed up. And so DDS splits this block, gets the right path to the quarterback, and then just uses that length to get to him. This is some really advanced stuff that I really enjoy. I love, you can barely see it, but if you watch it, I'm just going to show it in full, that quick jab step to get this guy off balance and then split that double team right there. It's such a quick, like split second move, but it gets that tackle to react the way he wants, knowing that a potential chip is coming. And then he just splits those two blockers, and the tackle's completely out of position, and we get an easy sack out of it. One more time, because I'm just such a big fan of it. The inside step, jab, and then just the relentlessness to get to the quarterback. There is legitimately still stuff that Dani Dennis-Sutton needs to work on, technique, discipline, but there's so much in here that you cannot coach. And it is freaky. To me, it's clear as long as he does everything right in training camp, he's the preferred rotational edge in that second group. He's just edge 3 once Micah Parsons is back. I hope he gets coached up the right way. I hope he's developing. I don't mean to take a shot at Penn State, but one of my biggest disappointments watching Penn State prospects on both sides of the football under James Franklin didn't feel like it mattered how talented they were. It just kind of felt like they never took big leaps while with the Nittany Lions. And I don't mean to take a shot at that program, and I'm hopeful that Matt Campbell will turn things around there. But that's just how I feel. Whether it was Drew Aller, whether it was Dani Dennis-Sutton, I got some questions about Abdul Carter right now in the NFL. But I am very hopeful about DDS. A 4th-round pick feels like an absolute steal for this guy. Let me know in the comments what you think about him. Has your opinion changed after watching this film breakdown? We'll have another Packers rookie preview next week. I'm trying to think of the draft order. I think it's Burton, the Kentucky offensive lineman. I love talking O-line on this channel. Don't get a lot of reasons to do it. So we'll be doing that. We got Dylan Stewart breakdown coming later this week, and then plenty of videos to come this offseason. We're not slowing down just because it's May and June. So stay tuned. Subscribe if you're not already. And we'll see you next week. Take care.